There is a massive lie in the gaming industry right now that companies like Sony and Microsoft don't want you to notice. They want you to believe that the console war is still about who has the best graphics or the fastest processor. But if you look at the graveyard of dead consoles, companies that used to rule the world and then vanished overnight, you'll realize that we are seeing the exact same pattern happening today. If you are thinking about buying a new console this year, you need to stop looking at the spec sheet and start looking at the history books. Because right now, there is only one piece of hardware that is actually safe to buy. Let's go back to 1999. If you were a kid back then, the coolest thing on the planet was the Sega Dreamcast. People forget how incredible this machine was. It was the first console that really took online gaming seriously. It had a memory card with a screen on it so you could play mini games on the bus. It had graphics that looked better than the arcades. Sega was the undisputed king of cool. But less than 2 years later, the Dreamcast was dead. Sega, the company that gave us Sonic the Hedgehog, stopped making consoles forever. How does a giant like that just collapse? It wasn't because the Dreamcast was bad. It was because Sega missed the bigger picture. When the PlayStation 2 came out, it wasn't just a game console. It was a DVD player. In the year 2000, everyone wanted to watch movies, and the PS2 was the cheapest way to do it. Sega bet everything on just games, while Sony bet on entertainment. Sega had the better soul, but Sony had the better utility. And that killed Sega. The reason I'm bringing up old ghosts is because the exact same thing is happening right now. Look at the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. They are powerful, sure. They can push 4K resolution and high frame rates. But what is their main selling point? It's just better numbers. They are screaming about teraflops and ray tracing. This is the Atari trap. Back in the 90s, Atari was desperate. They released the Atari Jaguar and slapped 64-bit all over the box. They tried to win by telling you their number was bigger than Nintendo's number, but the console was confusing. The controller looked like a brick, and the games were terrible. Atari chased numbers instead of fun, and they went bankrupt. So here we are in 2024. The big giants are chasing numbers again. And honestly, it's getting boring. We are paying $70 for games that aren't finished. We are stuck in walled gardens, where you can't carry your games from one platform to another. The market feels stale. It feels like we are just buying slightly faster versions of the same box we bought 10 years ago. But there is one console that breaks this cycle. It's the one device that stands out because it refuses to play by the old rules. The Steam Deck OLED. When Valve announced this thing, people were skeptical. It's huge, it's heavy. It looks like a Sega Game Gear ate a laptop. But the Steam Deck is doing something that no other console is doing. It is respecting your time and your money. Here's the problem with Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation. They want to trap you. If you buy a game on the Switch, you can't play it on your PC. If you bought a game on the PS3, you can't play it on the PS5 unless Sony says so. You are renting your childhood. The Steam Deck isn't a console, it's a trick. It looks like a console, but it's actually an open PC. This means if you have been buying games on your computer for the last 10 years, you already have a library. You turn on the Steam Deck, log in, and boom, thousands of games you already own are right there. You don't have to buy Skyrim for the 5th time. And then there is the screen. If you haven't seen the new OLED model in person, the videos don't do it justice. On a normal screen, black is actually just dark gray. On an OLED, the pixels turn off completely. It's pure black. This makes the colors pop in a way that feels impossible. Playing a colorful game like Hades or Cyberpunk on this thing feels like holding a window into another dimension. But the real standout feature isn't the screen. It's the freedom. Sega died because they couldn't adapt. Atari died because they were arrogant. The Steam Deck is winning because it lets you do whatever you want. Don't like the operating system? Wipe it and install Windows. Want to use it to type up your homework? Plug in a mouse and keyboard. Want to play games from the Sega Dreamcast or the original Game Boy? You can install emulators and do that. Valve is basically handing you the keys to the car and saying, drive wherever you want. Compare that to the other piece of hardware that is making waves right now, the Playdate. I have to mention the Playdate because it proves that graphics don't matter. It's a tiny yellow square with a black and white screen and a physical crank on the side. You literally spin a crank to control the game. It's weird, it's niche, but it is sold out constantly. Why? Because it offers a new experience. It's not trying to be a PlayStation, it's trying to be a toy. So you have the Steam Deck, which gives you total freedom, and the Playdate, which gives you total creativity. These are the standouts. These are the devices that people are actually excited about. Meanwhile, the traditional market is scary. We are hearing rumors about expensive pro consoles that might cost almost $1,000. We are seeing companies push subscriptions where you don't even own the games anymore. That is a dangerous path. That is the path 3DO took. You probably haven't heard of 3DO. They were a company in the 90s that tried to make the luxury console. It cost $700 back then. That's like $1,500 today. They thought people would pay anything for premium. They were wrong. They went bankrupt so fast it made heads spin. The lesson is clear. Price matters, but value matters more. The Steam Deck is the best value in gaming right now. Not because it's the cheapest, but because it's the most versatile. It bridges the gap between the casual comfort of a Nintendo Switch and the raw power of a PC. We are watching the death of the console generation. The idea that we all buy a new plastic box every 7 years and start our libraries from scratch is dying. The future is about ecosystems. It's about taking your games with you. Sega and Atari are cautionary tales. They remind us that being a giant doesn't mean you are safe. If you stop innovating, if you stop listening to what players actually want, you disappear. So, if you are looking to spend your money today, don't just buy the box with the biggest marketing budget. Don't buy the one that screams about 8K resolution. Buy the one that gives you ownership. Buy the one that lets you fix it yourself. Buy the one that feels like it was made by people who actually play video games, not just people who look at spreadsheets. Right now, that is the Steam Deck. It's the outlier. And in this industry, the outliers are usually the ones that change the world.